Good morning. Early morning on a Sunday. Thought I would come out and show you what the cover looks like. As I said before, this cover is really designed for a tree. So that's why there's so much extra fabric at the bottom. And this is how I keep my green stalks protected from all of the animals and bugs that want to get to my goodies. And I came out here, wanted to harvest this collard greens today. But I also see that I have a strawberry that is ready for harvesting. My very first strawberry. I am so excited. All right, so here's the green stalk without the cover. And again, as I was saying in one of my previous videos, the bare root strawberry unfortunately didn't take. So what I've been doing is, as other plants get runners, I've been carrying them over, and I probably could do that with this one today. And then I stick them here in the pot. I add a landscape staple. It roots, and then once it's securely rooted, I snip it here. All right, here's the first strawberry. Yay! How exciting. And it's sweet too. Okay, now to get some of these collard greens. So this is the Morris Heading collard green. And that particular variety produces really big leaves. And I really, really love the taste. So last year what I did was I grew a bunch of different types or varieties of collard greens to decide which ones I like the best, and that whichever ones I like the best, those would be the ones that I would grow going forward. And so I found those to be this Morris Heading collard green. I also like the Vates, V like Victor, A-T-E-S. And I found that I also like Top Bunch 2.0 or Top Bunch. But my favorite probably is the Top Bunch and the Morris Heading are my top two favorites. I also tried the Georgia Southern collard green, and I know that I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but I actually did not care for the Georgia Southern collard green at all. I also tried Champion. It was all right. It was kind of similar to the Georgia Southern, in my opinion. I mean, I have the seeds, so I will continue to grow it until I run out of the seeds. But after that, I will just stick with the Morris Heading and the Top Bunch. Now, I did get some seeds from Haas Tools for something called the Alabama Blue collard. And even though it was supposedly past the time to start seeds for collard greens, I started them anyway. And I planted those out because I found that even though my planting calendar was saying, oh, it's too late to start collard greens seeds, that's really not true. They grow all season long and well into the fall and winter, actually. So I was still harvesting fresh collard greens here in Michigan during Thanksgiving. So for Thanksgiving, I just came out to my Greenstalk and I picked fresh collard greens for dinner. And it was great not to have to get them from the grocery store. So I'll take a couple more leaves, and then this way, oh, almost fell down. It opens up some sunlight for some other areas to get some sun, like on my shallots and onions that I have planted in here. And even I have carrots down there. Poor carrots are just getting smothered out with the light. All right, so that's all I'm going to take off of this plant. And I'll leave the rest of the leaves to get bigger. And then, as you can see, new leaves are growing in. And I guess this is what you call the cut and come again method. All right, so what else we got? So this is the other one. I'm not so sure that this is my Morris heading, but this might be the champion because the leaves are, if you can see the difference, the leaves are slightly, if I put them side by side, the leaves are slightly different. So this might be the champion collard green. I somehow the other lost my labels, but I know my Morris heading because, again, those are my favorites. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and pick these leaves and then I'll show you my harvest when I'm all finished. All right, so here is my harvest. I have the collard greens, and then I did go ahead and trim my onions back. Now I know a lot of people say that once you plant your onions or your your shallots out, not to trim them anymore. But these leaves were so long that they're literally weighing the whole plant down and also dragging on the ground, and then getting caught up in the netting. So I've gone ahead and cut them a little shorter. I don't think that's going to hurt anything at all. The majority of these in here are actually, I think, the creme brulee shallot from Johnny. I think these are all creme brulee shallots from Johnny, so they won't actually be onions. Yeah, these are all creme brulee shallots. So that's why I experimented. I have some 1 per pocket because I want to see how big they get, and then in other pockets I put 2 per pocket. I've never grown an onion or a shallot in a Greenstalk before. Not sure what the results would be, but I thought, why not try it both ways, see what happens. And then in the bottom there, maybe you can see my carrots. So now that I've trimmed back the collard greens, maybe now the carrots can get some more sunlight, because those collard green leaves were massive. All right, well, thank you for spending this time with me this morning, and I hope you have a nice harvest.